Okay, so the biggest request I've had from my quick glance of the differences between the partial premium and the full premium interior Model 3s is a comparison of the sound system. Visually looking at the cars, both have the same amount of speaker grills. I'm in the full premium right now. Has 8-pillar speakers, another one up here, another in the door, two in the back, behind the seats. I believe there's more down here, not sure. So what I'm gonna do first is just play a couple songs in both cars and try to get a subjective opinion of the differences between the sound systems. And I'm gonna see if I can listen on the partial premium car to see if the speaker grates actually have speakers behind them, because that's one of the questions a lot of people have. To start the comparison, I'm gonna make sure that both cars are on the exact same settings. I'm just gonna baseline the equalizer here. I'm gonna make sure balance is centered. I'm gonna turn off immersive sound because the partial premium does not have that option. So I'm just gonna leave that off so we're starting with the same baseline. I'm gonna be playing two songs from Bluetooth phone from Google Play Music, high quality selected, just because that's usually what I do when I listen to music. And I have it set to full volume on the phone, 50% volume on the car itself. And I'm just gonna play maybe about 15 seconds, 20 seconds of each song and kind of listen around, see how it feels. I know this is my car, so I'm familiar with the sound system, so when I get to the partial premium, I'll have a better idea what that sounds like. So that song sounds pretty great. I like that song because it has a lot of bass, a lot of treble, kind of pretty balanced overall. So it sounds great. Let me play one more song, a little more acousticy, to get a better idea, so I can have a better comparison. Okay, same speakers. Song has less bass, but still sounds pretty great. Okay, so I think that gives me a pretty good baseline on the full premium. Now let me jump over to the partial premium. Okay, now we're in the partial premium Model 3. Let's pull up the settings, make sure we're at the same thing. I'm gonna set the equalizer to 0 to make sure we have an equal comparison. Balance that. See, you'll see in audio settings you lose a ton of options on the partial premium. Some of them were streaming related, so that's why those are missing. You do lose the immersive sound, so we'll see what effect that had. I set volume to 50%, 100% on the phone itself, same as the other car, and let's see how it sounds. also don't hear. Let me pause it so I can actually talk. I don't hear any bass coming from the rear of the car. I don't hear any music coming from the speakers behind the rear seats either. I hear all the bass coming from the lower speakers in the front. That said, it still sounds pretty great. Now actually paying attention, I do notice there is a difference. I wouldn't say it's a huge difference. You definitely get a lot more bass and surround sound, immersive sound, I guess. That's why they have that option on the full premium. Let me try the other song, see how that sounds. Okay, so the second song sounds pretty similar to the full premium car, primarily because it's less bass heavy, so it's not utilizing an extra subwoofer, which now I am assuming this car does not have. I think I will have to check, so let me grab my tools. Okay, so just if you're wondering, I did ask my wife's permission before I tore her car apart, so as long as I put it back together, it's fine. So. For science though, right? Okay, so the 8-pillar speaker in the partial premium, I popped it up and there is a speaker behind it. If you can see that there is a harness that goes to it. So it appears that that is wired. The other speaker in the door, the upper one, there is one there too. So far it appears that all the speakers that the full premium has, the partial premium has. Now I'm gonna check out the speakers in the rear and see if I can access the subwoofer. Okay, so I'm in the trunk now. The two rear speakers behind the rear seats, I cannot find an easy way to access without tearing the car apart too much, so I'm just gonna assume that they may or may not be there. I did not hear sound coming from them, so I don't believe they are. I don't see a wiring harness going to them either. So the biggest question of all that I've just solved, there is no subwoofer or amp in the partial premium. So on my car, there's a giant amp here and a giant subwoofer. On the partial premium, it's just this black piece that is bolted in. So it looks like the bolts are still there. If you were to somehow get the factory amp and subwoofer, you could bolt it in. But there is no wiring harness accessible if you wanted to do that. So if we look down behind, we only see the wiring harness going to the tail light and the wheel well. Other than that, I see no audio harness. So that answers the question. Between the two cars, partial premium does not include an amp or subwoofer. It has the same speakers up front. The only speakers that appears to be missing is the ones behind the rear seats. So it seemed to make a difference on songs that had a little more bass, a little more immersive sound. If you can live without that, then it's not the biggest change in the world. But I do appreciate having the dedicated subwoofer in my car. Sounds pretty great. So, hope that answers everyone's questions. Thanks for watching.